The Resilience Across Borders podcast is intended for education, support, and inspiration. I am not a psychologist or a medical doctor and do not offer any professional, medical, or health advice. If you are dealing with or suffering from any psychological or medical conditions, please seek help from a qualified health professional. Hello and welcome back to Resilience Across Borders podcast. I'm your host, Rachid. In today's episode, we'll discuss navigating the crossroads, specifically relationship ambivalence and the art of decision making when it comes to should I stay or should I go? So, as most of us have or are experiencing, navigating the complexities of a romantic relationship is akin to walking a tightrope suspended between the desire for connection and the uncertainty that often accompanies it. So, at times, we find ourselves standing at this crossroads where the decision to stay or go becomes a challenging and introspective journey that is complicated. So in this episode, we will explore the nuances of relationship ambivalence, the factors that contribute to indecisiveness, and strategies for coping with the confusion that can arise in the process. First, let's go a little bit more into understanding the relationship ambivalence. It is characterized by conflicting emotions and thoughts about that relationship. Individuals experiencing ambivalence may find themselves torn between the familiarity and comfort of the existing relationship and the desire for change or independence. This internal conflict can lead to indecisiveness, creating a sense of being stuck between two divergent paths. Is the relationship too good to leave, or is it too bad to stay in? So here are some factors contributing to ambivalence. This is based on both observations, discussions with many people, and readings, and of course, readings and discussions with others, and of course, my own experiences. One is fear of the unknown, that uncertainty of what lies ahead outside the familiar, outside that relationship. This fear can be a powerful factor contributing to ambivalence. Fear of loneliness, fear of the unfamiliarity or the challenges of starting again may create that hesitancy or just keep you hesitant to leave. Another is investment in the relationship. The emotional and time already invested in the relationship can create a sense of obligation to stay. Even when doubts arise, the longer the commitment, the harder it may seem to disentangle oneself from that one relationship. Another one is the idealization of the past. The nostalgia of the early and more positive stages of the relationship can cloud judgment. Individuals may grapple with the question of whether the current challenges are temporary or indicative of a deeper, irreparable issues. This becomes all very confusing too as you start splitting or whatever. Maybe sometimes, like even if the relationship is bad, the stink leaves the room and the clouds dissipate, and all you start remembering is the good early parts, right? So that's how it goes. Another is external pressures, societal expectations, family influences, or the fear of judgment from others can add an extra layer of complexity to the decision-making process. For example, friends in common and close relationships, maybe with partners, family members, and not wanting to disappoint someone, or is that person going to think? What is that person going to say? All of that, can add to the confusion. So these are, of course, just some of the main ones, but of course, there is many others, especially, of course, when you have kids involved or you have shared assets and so on, depending on how long you have been together and what are the other factors contributing to this. Here are some ways to start just dealing with this and maybe get you on your way to some good reflections. One is self-reflection. Take the time for introspection to understand your own needs, your own desires, your own fears. Journaling or speaking with a therapist or getting it out of your head, putting it on paper, thinking about it in that way, having a kind of a systemized approach to it, but especially depending on how complex it is, especially working with a therapist can provide a structured space for self-reflection. The deeper and longer level of involvement, the more resources and help needed to start sorting through these things. Another one is communication. Open and honest communication with your partner is essential. Share your feelings, your doubts, and concerns, fostering an environment where both partners can express themselves without judgment. Forget to set boundaries. Establishing clear boundaries can create a space for personal growth and reflection. This may involve taking some time apart to gain perspective on the relationship. Again, this depends on the type, duration, and level of entanglement. And in my opinion, should not be the first step for many reasons, including that it can create irreparable damage and you may not be able to recover from. Definitely seek support. Reach out to friends and family, but be aware of biases in this situation. Do may be good for emotional support, but may not be the best source of advice. Most times, a therapist is best. Having a support system, however, can provide valuable insights and emotional support during a challenging decision-making process. Other professional help can come from relationship counseling or other therapy can offer neutral ground for both partners to explore their feelings and work through challenges together. So if you are going through this difficult situation, here are some reflective questions that you can ask yourself as you grapple with this, hopefully to help in the decision making process. Ask, what are my core values? And reflect on this. What are my priorities in life? Reflect on whether your current relationship aligns with your fundamental values and life goals. Ask, do I feel fulfilled and supported in the relationship? Assess whether the relationship contributes positively to your well-being and personal growth. Does it give me energy? Does it sap it? Does it suck it out of me? You have to ask yourself these questions and quietly, honestly think about them, right? Ask, am I staying out of fear or genuine commitment or desire to actually stay in it? Differentiate between staying because of fear of the unknown, fear of loneliness, fear of abandonment, or staying out of genuine desire to invest in the relationship because you see the value in it, you see it leading you somewhere where you want to go. Ask also, how do I envision my future, both with and without this relationship? Imagine your life in the long term with your current partner and compare it to a life without them. Consider which scenarios resonates more with your aspirations and which one supports your long-term goals. Also ask, what pattern of behavior or issues have persisted in the relationship? Identify recurring challenges in the relationship and evaluate whether they are obstacles that can be overcome or signs of deeper incompatibility or what I call fatal flaws. There are just these things that no matter how much you wish or whatever, they just don't seem to go away. And especially if they are one of those really important things for you, like for instance, if you don't have trust in the relationship and it doesn't seem to be getting better, that's a tough one, right? If you don't have respect, if you both talk about how you define respect, and there just seems to be these things that you find and to be disrespectful to you, and they're not getting any better. That's going to be a tough one, right? So how you are treated matters more than how you like someone. So keep that in mind. Also ask, how do I feel when I am alone as compared to when I spend time with my partner? Assess your emotions when you are alone versus when you are with your partner. This is different from that healthy time that you both need apart for self-reflection and a little time to miss each other and to do some things maybe that you like to do and then maybe your partner doesn't like to do and all of that. There is a healthy amount of time apart and whatever. This is different. So do you feel more content, fulfilled, and at peace in one scenario over the other? So remember, quality of emotion determines quality of life. Also ask, have I communicated my concerns and needs to my partner? Reflect on whether you have actually effectively communicated your feelings, your concerns, and needs in the relationship. And then consider how your partner responds or responded to these communications at different times. Do you feel seen? Do you feel heard? And do you feel understood? Also ask, what role does fear play in your decision-making process? Examine that role. And are you afraid of being alone? Are you afraid of starting over? Are you afraid of facing societal judgment? Or are you drowning your own voice and wish, because you are listening way too much to other people's voices and opinions, right? So also ask, how do I envision my ideal relationship, independent of all of this? If you are just starting over, and just say, okay, what is the ideal one? Envision the characteristics of an ideal relationship for you. Compare these ideals with the current state of your relationship. Also, what is my gut instinct, after all, telling me? What is my intuition saying, right? Is it genuinely happy and at peace? Ponder that really deeply, and take your time there. Just remember, these questions are meant to guide self-reflection, may not provide definitive answers. The decision-making process is complex, and it's okay to seek help from especially a therapist, and maybe from trusted friends or family for other support or other professional support as you navigate through these questions and the emotions they may bring out to the surface. So again, deciding whether to stay or to go is marked by a deeply personal and an often complex. It is a deeply personal and often complex process. It requires introspection, open communication, and the willingness to confront one's fears and uncertainties. By navigating this journey with self-awareness and seeking support when needed, you can make decisions that align with your values and contribute to personal growth, even if it means taking a path less traveled. As always, thank you for tuning into the Resilience Across Borders podcast. If you are enjoying this podcast and finding it helpful to you, please let us know so we can continue to make more episodes about these topics. You can do that by leaving a review, following our social media, subscribing where you can, or leaving a comment, or just sharing with others that need to hear it. Remember to be kind to yourself and be kind to others, and stay resilient.